Julia Busatil Nishimura, the queen of Maltese cooking, is here. I'm so excited to have you in the kitchen. I adore your books. I love your food. What are you making me today?
Thank you so much. Today we are making one of my family favourites. It's a Maltese, or take on Maltese pie.
Yeah.
Filled with pumpkin and lots of really delicious flavours like parsley and mint, pine nuts, tomato. It's just going to be really fresh and zingy, and also homemade pastry.
So what have we done to the pumpkin here?
Okay, so the pumpkin we've left kind of whole. It's still got the skin on it, and we've just roasted it with olive oil, salt and some mixed spice and cinnamon.
So we've pre-done that,
Yes.
and it's cooled down slightly.
That's right. And then all we need to do is fry off the onion and finally chop the garlic as well.
Yes, I can do that for you.
So that's just going to cook really slowly, and then we're also going to roughly chop that tomato, and that's for the filling.
Okay, I'm onto it.
Perfect. And so while you're doing the filling, Justine, I'm going to get onto the pastry, which is just a really simple, flaky pastry. And I like doing it on the board, but you can do it in a big bowl if that's what you've got at home.
Whenever I watch you on Instagram making pasta or any dough, it's like mesmerising. You just do it so well with joy, and you make it look easy. I think that's your appeal, is because I think a lot of us don't know what Maltese cooking is.
Totally. There's the iconic dishes as pastizzi. It's really close to North Africa as well as Sicily, so it's this real melting pot of Mediterranean cuisine. So I just added some salt to the flour, and then I've got the unsalted butter in here, which is cold.
Okay.
So I'm just going to kind of coat it to start with. I like to keep the butter quite chunky. Like, I don't really, I don't like to do it in a food processor because I think it blitzes up the butter too much.
Yeah.
And this is what is going to make it really nice and puffy.
Making pastry and doing it by hand, it's like a therapy.
Oh, it's so good. And I'm not even really rubbing it. I'm almost like smushing it into flaky bits of butter. And so that's going to be incorporated. And then we're going to add the wet ingredients, which is a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of white vinegar.
Yeah, what does the vinegar do?
So it's like less chance of it being a tough pastry, and that beautiful kind of short pastry that we really love kind of just helps that along.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
And I just love your story. You were an Italian teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
And now you've turned into this cooking sensation. How many books have you got now?
Yeah, I've got 2 published, and we just actually republished the first book. So my first book is Ostro.
And this particular recipe is in your latest book.
Yeah, my second book, A Year of Simple Family Food, which is all about seasonal, simple home cooking. There's shortcuts. You don't have to make the pastry. You can buy puff pastry if you don't have the time. But, it is about slowing down a little bit, not rushing so much with your food, which I think is just so important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to finish chopping these tomatoes, cool down the onions.
Beautiful. And then I'm just going to finish rubbing this butter into the flour. We're going to put the vinegar and ice water in and bring it just to a really shaggy dough.
Yep.
I'm going to split it into 2 discs and chill it in the fridge for about an hour. So the pastry's ready, and you can see here it's just holding together. So I haven't added too much water, and you can still see the butter. That's really important.
Nice one.
Yeah. All right, so the pastry has been resting in the fridge for an hour, and I've just started rolling out the base because it's a free-form pie. And you're finishing off the filling?
Yes, this mint, I love the idea of using mint and parsley, and you want to use the whole lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And you were saying mint is used quite a lot in Maltese cooking.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So we use it a lot, especially with seafood, but a lot of vegetable dishes have mint in it as well. Fresh mint, parsley, just a lot of fresh flavours.
So good. I'll pop that into a bowl.
So I'm just going to put some baking paper on the base. And we want a little bit of overhanging pastry because we're going to kind of crimp it once the filling has gone on.
Okay.
So that's the bottom ready to go. So once the herbs are chopped up and the rice has gone in the filling, we can just give it a really good mix up and put it straight onto the base of the pastry.
Fantastic. That's my job. I can do that.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to roll out the second, the top.
Nice one. So this is just some cooked rice?
Yep, some brown rice, and it just kind of gives it a really good texture and holds it together a little bit. So
I've noticed also there's no cheese, there's no egg in the actual mixture.
No.
Could you, if you wanted to, change up the filling for this recipe?
Yeah, totally. You can add different herbs, like coriander would be really delicious. Things like almonds or hazelnuts instead of pine nuts.
Yeah.
Even dates instead of the raisins.
I really like the idea of doing this pie when I'm sort of clearing out the bottom of my crisper where I've got a little bit of leek left over, some carrot. You could probably cook that
100%.
down.
Anything. This is like a little bit more perhaps leaning into the Middle Eastern flavours, a little bit of Maltese cooking. You know, you could add some juice as well if you want it to be extra.
You and I could just talk all day on what we could do with the filling. So the filling, pop it into the centre.
Yep, exactly.
Are you happy with that texture,
That
the
looks
mashing?
beautiful.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And we use the whole lot of this?
Yep, the whole lot.
It's a generous pie. Filling. In.
Yay, awesome. All right, so our pastry's rolled out as well. I'm just going to flatten it a little bit just to help the pastry kind of go over the top. And you do want a bit of a border because we're going to crimp it. All right, I'll just finish smoothing this out and I'm going to put the top on as well. And while I'm doing that, do you mind whisking the egg for the egg wash?
I can do that for you.
So this is just going to go, it's going to drape all the way over the top. And I'm just going to tuck it in a little bit so we know how much extra we have. So it's looking really nice. I'm going to trim it because there is a little bit of excess pastry. So I'm just going to go around. So it's got about a 3 centimetre border. And I'm just going to finish trimming this off and then I'm going to start crimping it in.
Okay, show me how you crimp.
So there's no kind of like special way, but I just kind of bring it in to seal it and then pinch it, just so it's nice and sealed. Just so none of the filling kind of escapes. And we will actually poke a hole in the top just to let the steam come out as it cooks.
Sounds good. So after this, we're going to brush it with some egg wash. It goes into the oven, 180 degrees. For how long?
Around about 40 minutes. Everything inside the pie is cooked, so we're just trying to crisp up that pastry. It's going to be yum.
It is going to be yum. Wow, Jules, this looks so impressive. Perfectly golden brown. That pastry, you know it's going to be good.
It's going to be good. A real family pie.
Absolutely.
Should we cut into it?
Yes, please. I'll take the tray.
Thank you.
And we have cooled it down, of course. You don't want to be cutting into it when it's piping hot.
No, not at all. So just cut a little wedge out.
Oh, the sound. Actually smell
Oh, it smells
the
incredible.
mint and the pumpkin.
Oh, so good.
It's gorgeous.
Yum.
And I keep thinking next time I have a picnic, this is a must. Can you serve it cold if you want to?
Definitely, definitely room temperature, hot. It's, totally up to you. It is delicious the next day.
Oh, yes. Lucky there's a lot of this because I'm going to be eating it for a few days. All right, where shall we go?
I'm going to go to the front.
Okay, go to the front. I'm going to go to the back because I just really want to get a good chunk of this gorgeous pastry.
Oh, you can taste the mixed spice from the pumpkin. So good. Nice and flaky.
It's an amazing pie. It's just so good. And there's nothing missing from it. You don't need cheese in there. The pumpkin says it all. And that pastry, it's like, it's a timeless pastry that you can use over and over again for many different things.
So versatile.
It's versatile. Oh, geez, I love you. I love you and I love your recipes. Thanks, Jules.
Thank you so much.